Hello, you immature slugs, and welcome to this little review made with no preparation, a bunch of tapes and hopes and dreams. Today we're gonna talk about this fairly new show called Jentry Chau versus the Underworld. Let me warn you that this video won't have that much structure or deep thoughts. I just finished watching the show and wanted to give some of my thoughts on it, so if you feel that the video is pretty messy at times, it's normal. Also, just to be clear, it's also going to be spoiler free, so for those who didn't watch it, you can watch my review and then go watch the show to give yourselves your own opinion on it. And lastly, this is my own opinion, okay? So if you have a problem with what I say, just complain in the comments. Respectfully if possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and now let's just get into it.
God's not real if you two morons are running this investigation.
So we follow Jentry Chau, a 16-year-old girl living in Seoul. She's trying to go home when she's suddenly attacked by a mugwai, some sort of demon/monster. But her great aunt Gugu arrives to save her and tells her that this mugwai was sent by Chang, a man that is after her powers that she suppresses today because of a fire she caused that destroyed half of a town in Texas when she was 8. Gugu tells her that she needs to come back to this town in Texas to face off Chang to finally stop him. So we follow Jentry through her journey, where she'll face her demons of the past and the secrets surrounding her life. This show was fine. Let me explain before you all jump me. Okay, so first I'm gonna start with the negatives, so what ticked me off personally, then I'll go over what I liked. You are touching the child! No! Okay, so one little nitpick I want to start with would be the pacing. Not of the overall show, but of certain scenes. Like in the first episode, Jentry is talking with her phone to her great aunt who is in Texas while she is in Seoul, Korea. But then Jentry is suddenly being chased by a Jiangsu, but thankfully her great aunt arrives to her rescue. How did she get here so fast? And when Jentry asked her how she got here, she just answered that she took the first plane. So that means that during her chase, her great aunt took a plane, got out of the airport, ran from there and somehow was able to find Jentry as soon as she got out? How long was Jentry being chased after? And that's not the only time this kind of thing happens, and that's not the only thing that I picked out. Am I the only one who thinks that some of the dialogues felt kind of weird? Like, I know it's a fictional show, but sometimes the characters, Jentry mostly, would try to evade suspicions about her powers, or sometimes she would feel awkward about her crushes, and at those moments, she tries to get her way out by saying random shit, but like, very awkward shit. For example, in the second episode, she goes to register at her new high school and sees this board with the demon girl. And you know, awkward because she's a demon girl, but no one knows that. So she's talking with the vice principal, he asked her a basic question, and the first thing she manages to spurt out is, "What? No, I didn't burn half the town when I was 8, what are you talking about?" Girl, what? I get that it's supposed to be funny for the audience, but for me, not only was it cringe, but I started to get annoyed by how much she tried to deny it when the only thing she had to do was shut the fuck up. And if it was just this, but no, she does this kind of cringe stuff every episode. And I know those are supposed to be funny, silly moments, but for me personally, I wasn't laughing. I was in clinical pain. Every time she did something like this, I wanted to Alt F4 and just never come back again. Another thing that's been bugging me was with the character Michael. Don't get me wrong, lovely guy, but some of his arcs felt either rushed or literally just brushed upon. For example, I'm not gonna spoil, but at one point he's going through some sort of High School Musical arc, you know, Troy's dilemma about sports and music. Well, at one point he goes through that shit, and he kind of severs one of his relationships, and the thing is, it kind of appears out of nowhere, and then after this episode, it's never brought up again. Like, what was that for? And then there's also something he discovers about himself. Like I said, I'm not gonna spoil, but it's something related to his dreams. If you know, you know. And then he asks his parents about it. They seem to know what's going on, so Michael swears that after he comes back, they will tell him what's happening. And that's the last scene where we ever see his parents. We never have any answers. Again, what was all of that for? I guess if there's another season, they will touch on that, but that was really weird pacing again. It really felt like his only purpose as a character was for Jentry, because the limited interest and arcs he had for himself were either brushed off or never ever mentioned after being brought out in the same episode. And it's not the only character suffering from limited attention. Remember Gentry's friend from Seoul? No? Well, it's normal, we only see them 3 times in the whole show, and that's very disappointing considering the fact that they know about Gentry's powers. They could have expanded on it. There's also one time where Gugu made a deal with someone and it's supposed to be this very big thing, but we never talk about it after a while. Like, there's so much stuff that they tease and then just forget about it. I get that it's maybe teasing for a potential season 2, but the way it was done, it just felt wrong. But you know what? I can go past all of that. Those are just silly nitpicks. It's not the same as... Oh, fuck my life. Okay, for those who have been following me, you might not know this, but personally, in shows and medias in general, there is one thing that I cannot stand, which is, you guessed it, love triangles. Ooh, yeah, awkward tension. Oh, the necessary drama. Not only that, but most of the time, it's obvious which couple will be endgame. So most of the time, I'm just sitting there suffering through useless banter while the characters go through misunderstandings, relationship dilemmas, and tears. Well, guess what happens in this show? Don't get me wrong, I like the characters, especially Kit. He's my favorite character. But this particular part of the show was the weakest in my opinion. But I admit, this love triangle was better handled than most love triangles I've seen. So it's actually better than anything, in fact.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
Okay, that was for the negatives, now let's go to Joyland. First and foremost, the beautiful animation, stunning colors, and I love the designs, especially the Mugwais. Ed, for example. I don't know if Jiangshus typically use masks to portray their emotion in Chinese folklore, but I really liked it here. I like to see the diversity in not only Chinese, but mostly Asian mythical creatures. There were also Bakanekos, Kitsunes, and way more. And I was just vibing with it all. And how can I not mention the music? The first time I interacted with this show was through the opening, and my god, this almighty banger. Most of the songs have K-pop vibes or are K-pop essentially, and it felt like I was listening to Jentry's playlist. Because most of the time, it really felt like I was listening to Jentry's emotion through songs I feel like she would be listening to. I don't know if I explained it well. Nonetheless, it's a bub, there's no further explaining to do. As for the story, even if it felt like there were some loose ends, it was really engaging. And you can really understand Jentry's feelings in this too. Basically, she wants a normal life because of her powers, and not only that, but she feels like her powers only make things worse in her life. And throughout the show, you can see why this statement is true as hell. To point some tiny examples, she burned half of a town, and the reason Cheng wants her dead is also because of her powers. Yeah, so when there are times where she hesitates and is scared to use them, it's very valid. And I just stated 2 examples. And there's also all of the secrets some people will tell her, so as we follow her journey to normalcy, we also discover her past and the mysteries that even she isn't aware of. And that leads to a lot of trust issues. Who can she go to for answers? Who to really trust? Who to blame? And who to forgive? And that's the whole point of Jentry's, but also various other characters' journey. But like I said in the beginning, you can really see it for yourself by watching it. And who knows, if the ratings are good, we could get a season 2. You know, to maybe finally have answers to those loose ends. Netflix, please don't be a bitch this time. And that's the end of this video. Yeah, I told you it would be short. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around.